This was a long-awaited decision by the federal court about this legal challenge against the nuclear waste facility. The site had been selected near Kimba on the Eyre Peninsula in a sacred site, and the traditional owners of that land, the Barngarla people, have long opposed this facility being built there, and they brought their fight to court. It's been years in the making, this fight, and today they got the decision from the federal court that they have upheld their judicial review, and that means that the decision of the minister to choose this site has now been set aside. Now, there was standing room only in the courtroom, not a spare seat. People were standing in the doorway, and there was a huge relief and celebrations from the Barngarla people. Other people had travelled here to witness this judgment as well, including representatives from the Conservation Council. There's been a lot of support for the Barngarla people in bringing this fight against this nuclear storage facility. What had been proposed was a facility to store Australia's low to intermediate level nuclear waste from medicine such as X-rays. Currently it's stored in lots of locations like hospitals around the country, and the federal government had been trying to find a site to have a permanent location for this waste. But today the federal court upheld the main ground that the Barngarla people had brought their case to court, which was that there was apprehended bias in the decision-making process because there was a pre-conclusion or pre-judgment in terms of choosing this site. Now, to put that into context, it's quite rare for a court to make a ruling of apprehended bias against a minister. So quite significant legally, but also quite symbolic for the traditional owners who came out here and celebrated before and said this is more than just a legal precedent to them. This was always about the principle of about standing up for their country, this sacred site for women, of defending their stories and their Dreamtime stories, and in opposing this. So lots of scenes of emotions and elation at the court today when this decision was given.
So what happens next, Candice?
Well, what happens next is that it will come back to court to argue about costs. Now, we know that a significant amount of money has been spent by the federal government defending this legal challenge. They revealed during a parliamentary hearing that in the space of 6 months it was hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's speculated that it would be into the millions in terms of the full coverage of the case. The Barngarla people, now that they have won the case on one of their grounds, will be making an application, it seems, for costs. Their legal costs were a fraction of what the federal government spent. They had a big team of lawyers, but that will be determined along with a few other little legal issues. But the main takeout from today is that the decision to choose this site for the nuclear waste storage facility no longer stands. It cannot stand. And there's huge celebrations here for the Barngarla people and everyone else who had gathered in support of their fight.